You gotta hit got it, right? Great, so it looks to me like it's 4 p.m. We'll go up 3:59. Do we need to wait? I'm not really expecting anybody else. I haven't heard otherwise. Heard from a couple people that aren't going to be here. And I sent the agenda out a week ago. I just had one addition to it. So when we come to it, I'll let you know what it is. So for the people in the room, I did have some paper copies. Imagine that, huh? Of the agenda. We can get started. And I know, I think we want to share the screen for we'll just start right off with the age-friendly action planning tool that Brittany put together for us. Now that we have our age-friendly action plan official, it's everywhere official, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're working from going forward. And so we need to track our progress. And so I will let you speak about it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a simple Excel sheet. We have all the different pages representing each of the different domains. And so from these meetings, I'll be taking the meeting minutes and just taking notes at the meetings and filling in, the various things that are being worked on at that time. So it's not organized in any specific like date timeline or anything like that. I'm not sure the easiest way to, I guess, frame that yet. I'll just have to see how it goes, and it'll be a very fluid tool that will just change over time, I'm sure. So you just have to scroll to the left.
Oh,
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
So
So
you have it by domains at the bottom. You have the tab, so that's good.
and all the colors are coordinating to what the colors are in the action plan.
Very
So yeah, pretty simple. It's something that I don't know if we can have a living document online, so like other people can see the progress of what's happening if we want to go that route. Because we could have a live link on the town website, I assume. Just people wouldn't be able to edit it, they can just view it. So then they can go to it, they can see the action plan that's on the town website right now. And then they could open up this Excel sheet and be like, okay, like what's been done. And within each column of the date, so I haven't gone back to last month's meeting, but I believe it's posted now, so I can go through and fill that in, and I'll attach that YouTube link to that dates column. So if anyone is interested in seeing that, they'll be able to just click right there. So everything in one place.
Very high tech. So Peter, does that make sense to you based on your work recently with Design Lab and what we want to have on the town website committee level?
Yeah, that can be done pretty easily.
Yeah, so that link that I shared, I haven't shared it with the group yet. So Peter, I'll send it to you, and it can just be put on the town website under the action plan.
Perfect.
Maybe every year or so we could say, we're this % of the way through, or like, this is how many items we've, started on or completed, something like that could be a nice little update, but I think it's a great tool to keep track of things. The various meetings, beyond just this one.
And you've done that through the library, so you have some experience and like how to show, the progress, and I like that. Very good. And the fact that you said that you were going to be updating it. So we're just going to have to work together to make sure the communication is there so that we know what's been done when other people, do things.
Yeah.
Even outside of meetings. So very good. So do you want to move right along and just talk about anything about the community garden projects in Crandall Park?
Yeah, so it looks like all the plots are planted now. The last in-ground plot was planted sometime last week. It looks really great. Like some of the stuff I planted there looks better than the stuff I have planted at home. So really exciting to see that actually come together. We're having an event tomorrow night at Katahdin Arts. It's more of like a social gathering, but painting rocks so that people can put those in their garden.
Yeah.
Some people did it already, but I figured,
I saw the little pumpkin ones I went down today.
it looks really nice. So I'll be bringing the rocks and some paint markers.
We have a giant basket too. We broke the handle.
Oh,
bringing
really?
More rocks
Yeah.
there, so
Perfect.
funny.
Very good.
I have lots of rocks that are from the airport, so
Nice.
locally harvested.
Very
Um,
nice.
And yeah, other garden stuff. I mean, people are pretty much self-sufficient with it. No real questions about the water setup or anything like that. We got a really, really nice lightweight pump it's battery, and it's the quietest thing. It's really cool. So if anyone's interested in knowing how that works, I can go over there. I can help you. Super simple to learn. And there was one other thing about the garden. Oh, there's a community member who has been volunteering and weed whacking it for us. He saw that it was a little bit overgrown, the grass in there, because we haven't been able to get the mulch yet from Scott's. So he took it upon himself to go in there and weed whack. So he said he
nice.
would do that weekly until
Can you come to
we
my
get the
house,
mulch.
please?
So that's really great, and he's really excited that it's there. And he doesn't have a plot there or anything. He just
Saw them
is happy that it's there.
Nice.
So I have to get his
Okay.
information so I can add him to the garden
Yeah.
volunteer group.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Very good.
I was just gonna say a side note on that, the children's flowers, so
Mm.
I went today to plant them, but the boxes are, I see, repurposed, so. Anyway, we planted them here,
Mhm.
and so if you want to take a gander out and back, we planted some flower boxes here with them, and we'll, just see how they do here.
Yeah, I thought I had reached out about those, about using them for
Yeah,
other plots.
No, you did, you asked, and I said, you said, what was your plan? And I said, the kids, it would have been so cold at night,
They weren't
and they
growing.
were so spindly at the time and fragile looking, I didn't dare put them in, and so you said, no, okay, great, we won't do that, we'll wait for the perennials or the flowers, and that's why I thought we were doing that, but that's.
Oh,
okay.
I meant perennials as in having like an herb garden, like buying perennials to put there,
I see,
not sunflowers. But then it turned out that 2 additional people asked me for boxes.
Sure, and
so
that's
it
what I
just
said,
went that
someone's
route.
growing something and it's fine, it's just that I just want to let you know that
Yeah.
people ask, families ask, that had kids that planted flowers,
They're
they're here.
Yeah, okay, yep, I just
So-
assumed that they did not grow, 'cause
Yeah,
that's what I
they
heard.
just took, no, it just took a long while,
Mhm.
because starting to proceed, it's only been 8 weeks today, so,
Mhm.
sometimes that takes a little bit of time if they're not in a hot house, obviously, we haven't had a lot of real warm weather, so. So it's been, just in the sunshiny spot at my house. trying to-
So can we just transition in talking about the gardening, in small spaces classes that you've had?
Oh, yeah, I think that was, Diana and Nicole both mentioned how they felt it was quite successful as far as size of programming that you've had. That was my first programming doing that here, but I think we had 15, 16 participants. Very engaged group, really asking lots of great questions. Kate Garland from the University of Maine was tremendous. She's a wealth of knowledge. She brought seedlings and, little potting cups that she'd made for everyone. And so they could all take home tomato plants, or I think there were a few other things that she gave away, but people were super excited about that. And got a sign up sheet for people who are interested in more classes. So we have a way to reach out and have their email addresses. The extension, Brittany and I emailed a few times back and forth, not doing a lot of other classes this summer live, but yet they have some webinars on site on their website. So I've sent out links for that if people are interested. I just got mine today. You're signed up for pickling class. So we have a pickling class available in July. I did attend the canning one the other day, and I think I was the only one from this area that signed up for it. We sent it out to everyone, and I was trying to find a central place like here at the library so people could come and do it Zoom, but this space was, it seems to be tied up during the time that comes regularly on Wednesday. So anyway, that's okay. So I thought people could at least do it from home if they want. And it's free, or you can make a donation if you're so inclined for those. So it's cost effective for people. But overall, I think it was a great class, a good kickoff for the garden. And so many people just excited about growing something in their own yard and, or in the community garden, so.
So do you have a list started of folks that would be interested in the beautification piece for around town? Because we know we have a need for volunteers, whether it's at Bobby's
Right.
Garden, on the Mishu Trail, or other places.
Well, we asked people on the sign-in sheet, I should have brought one, if they were interested in either volunteering or getting more information about upcoming programs and needs. And so I do have that little email list.
Started.
We could send out an email to everyone and say, hey, looking for volunteers. Love to beautify, so come ahead and help. Yes.
I had a couple volunteers reach out asking about getting involved in that kind of thing, but I think they want a leader. They don't want to be the one, coordinating everything. So,
Right.
yeah, there's hope.
There is hope.
Volunteers for that. And Sarah, you had some programs right on the horizon with Wabanaki Public Health and
Yes.
Wellness.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so as a kind of a side thing with that, here at the garden at the library, Wabanaki Public Health has planted 2 boxes and they're still working on their little signage in the native language, but they'll get those here as soon as they can. But they've planted strawberries, ground cherries, I think a sunflower, let me think what else. Some herbs, I think. And so they're also interested in doing some outdoor programming. I asked them if they might be interested in doing it down at the community garden as well as here. And they thought that would be a great idea. Could do it outside to, do some kind of preserving class if you wanted. They have some resources for that. She said, we have all kinds of equipment. We could do outdoor cooking station, that kind of thing. So that was a great opportunity. We talked about seed saving classes, and Jasmine is very interested in that. She has a lot of background with that. And so she's interested in helping provide any of those things that we might want to do in conjunction with the gardens that we have here.
So is that the seed library that you're talking about?
No.
Like using the
Yeah, no.
seed saving is different?
Yeah, separately, just so that people know how to save seeds, although if they were to save seeds, certainly they can be donating to the seed catalog. That really hasn't gone too far yet, because most people are planting and wanting to do their own things right now with their seeds, but talked about maybe as the summer progresses, and we do a seed saving class, that people, as they're saving their own seeds, they can be donating them, to the card seed catalog, and we could start something here to give away for the next year, the next season. So that's that.
Any questions to date for so far?
We've had lots of rain. We're glad for that, and
When you get seeds donated, do you have like little envelopes for people to put them in?
Not
So
yet.
it's uniform?
no, but
or-
we will.
yeah.
We'll need to, and it has to be.
Yeah.
I've looked at some of the ones something that will fit in there. I was thinking along the lines of those mail ticket. Do you remember from the mail? That size manila.
Corner,
Yeah. Yeah, they kind of would fit in there. So finding a resource for that and getting those, and then just making labels so that, maybe a brief growing instruction, as far as depth and spacing.
To be dried out first.
Certainly, yes, yeah. So that's why I think it'd be great to wait for the people to have a class on seed saving, so you're getting an appropriate seed that's not gonna mold or mildew or not be dry enough.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes.
Next on the agenda. So Barbara, status update on the community.
Yes,
Farmers
so,
Market Work Group.
Bear with me, this is the first time doing a big project like this, but I'm gathering information every day. And what I did was I put together a very tentative outline of the kinds of information we need to move forward. And
So for the folks in Zoom, right, we have a paper copy, so I'm thinking you're gonna
I
speak through
have
just-
it digitally. I didn't want to send it out till you approved it, basically. And so basically, I'm looking for people who would like to be part of a work group to make this happen. And the things that we need to think about, we need more names of people. I have a few names here. And I did get feedback from Cassandra Wallace in the past 2 hours, which I will relate to you about what she had done at Crandall Park. So I've talked to individuals, including John Rowe of Young Bakery. He's the husband of Maria, who does the baking, and they had a very good experience with the Belfast Farmers Market. He's very enthusiastic about a new market. Sarah gave me the names of some possible vendors who might be interested. And I did speak in person with Tom from the Tom Costa from the Fox Green Market. I met him this past weekend, and he said he does farm share, senior farm share, and he said he would be interested. I already heard back from a few people on my list of organizations. I wanted to wait again before contacting everybody till Jane fine-tuned this document. But so I foresee individuals getting involved as volunteers, organizations getting involved, maybe like Susan Adams with maybe one market at the Heritage Park, maybe not, maybe we want to keep it all at the same marketplace. Possible locations, the Heritage Plaza, Crandall Park, Veterans Park, possibly the parking lot behind Town Hall. I just threw that in because that could be vacant on Saturdays. Cassandra recommends the Veterans Park. At Crandall Park, they had not a bad turnout, but it seemed a bit out of the way to her. They also did not have insurance. She did it as a volunteer. They did not have insurance. They didn't have porta potties. And she said she had spoken to town council about insurance, but that never went forward. I don't think we should do anything without some kind of insurance. And I included some printouts of some, just for colorful information about farmers markets around Maine. There's a lot of variety in the hours and how they do things, but generally, Saturday mornings, 8:30 to 1 is a good time slot. And some of the markets move indoors for the winter, or they go up through October. And we potentially could have one around the time of the marathon as well, So the goal, the immediate goal, and I'd like to be involved with this over the whole next year, hopefully to have full-fledged market by next summer. But depending on what Jane thinks or the committee thinks, the immediate goal is to try to do a pop-up market, this page, item number 6, at Trails End. And we could have at very little cost, I could be at the table, have a paper banner saying, interested in the farmer's market, come here for more information. Have a sign-up sheet that people would either express their opinion or say they'd like to volunteer for possible future grant writing to have some evidence of local interest. So we could have a sampling of some baked goods, maybe some craft items, just to give people the flavor of what it might be like and see, get people excited about it. So I don't think it would cost very much. There would be maybe a little bit of a cost. I think right now, Stephanie Jameson is the contact person for Trails End. It changed administration from last year. So I would need to know if the committee thinks that's a good idea, who to contact about permission for doing it. And the feedback from Cassandra is, I'm amazed that it happened at all with such a loose organization. She didn't charge vendor fees because she wanted people to really be able to come, but that way there was no commitment. And so people didn't know if they came who was going to be there. So my feeling is that there's real support for it, but there should be a much firmer structure to it. And also legal things like insurance. A dog bites a child at your market and you're done, so, or whatever, somebody falls, so so I'd like to, in the next 2 weeks or so, really start forming a work group that could meet by Zoom and or in person. And I think there's a lot of support for the idea. It's just kind of like a big elephant I'm trying to kind of herd and really make sure that all the work that we put in has a foundation. So if one person leaves, the whole thing doesn't collapse. So any feedback from
I liked what you said, like try to plan something so next summer that it can come to fruition, that sort of thing. So Peter, how involved is Stephanie in the planning? I know Cody Nikki wanted to-
So Stephanie is part of that team. Tom, right there at that table, I believe, is as well. Am I correct in saying that?
Yes, sir.
Kind of shaking it.
So
Who do we get permission from?
the contact would be, I don't think that they're, making decisions individually, but if you were to email trailsendfestival@gmail.com, you would be able to reach that group and communicate with them.
Perfect, thank you.
I believe they're meeting weekly at this point and
Okay,
getting a lot of work done. So trailsendfestival@gmail.com.
okay. I had something that was info@trailsend.com, so I guess that was wrong.
That's the chamber.
That's the chamber, okay. What about Amber Wheaton at the community initiative? Should she, do you think she'd be person to get involved with? or-
She's on that committee, correct?
She's also on the Trails End Committee.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep, she'll be in the loop either way.
Okay, so Jane, do you think that's a good idea to have a pop-up?
So let me ask Tom, what would that look like? It would be in Veterans Park. I mean, based on what they've got planned, can you see a place for that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
And resource table with different things that are going on, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's gonna be brought up to the group, but there's plenty of,
Yeah, I think it'd be very low cost. I mean, maybe we get a banner printed that has that question on it or some, some nice fruits and veggies. And, I think we could get people to donate crafts and loaves of bread and things like that. We have tables we can bring. So it's really just Barbara's time and some coordinating those things.
And I maybe could collect business cards from some of the local businesses that don't want to participate. I did ask the people over at what is it, not Main Memories, but the other one, Diana, the photography gallery, Moose Print Gallery. And she said she doesn't want to show things at the farmer's market because they get damaged, but I can send people over to her. I can say, if you're here in town, some other places to go, so. So is that, that's.
So is the goal to just find out if people are interested in having them or if people want to participate, or is that both?
Both, yeah. And also to meet other vendors, to get vendors, to start getting the idea, plant the seed of, oh, this is really gonna be a possibility, and potentially have a mailing list, and tell one vendor, if other people, kind of start a networking with them.
So when you say vendor, like you're talking about like food and goods, what could the goods be? Are you keeping it just to like handmade goods or crafts? Like, so what is your
Usually
definition
the-
of goods? Should there be some sort of
The
parameter?
criteria is local and handmade, no imported, cups and things like that. Yeah, local and handmade. So baked goods, cheese, eggs, coffee, mainly coffee would be a place. Local artists, local craftspeople, candles.
Oh, we had a question that Peter might actually really answer related to that. Peter, are you still
He's
there?
sorry.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
Sorry, we were on a sidebar conversation there.
Yeah.
It's okay. Earlier, Barbara and I were talking about this, and we were wondering if through the town, there would be a way to get in touch with the vendors that are currently at Peddler's Hill, because they might be good candidates for this kind of market in the future.
I think that is probably possible. We must have their information on file as we issue them their permits to be there. Yeah, I think we could probably do that. I can have Diana look into it, most likely.
Right, and also I want to frame it as, we're not competing with you, we're just giving you another place for people, another venue that people know is going to be there, is going to be reliable, and
so,
All right, so Tom, yeah.
reality check.
these vendors are going to get peddler's licenses, victor's licenses, like the peddlers do on Peddler's Hill right now.
Okay,
Correct?
yeah, they would need some kind of.
That's a
license.
question. That's not,
Well, that's a requirement, isn't it?
well, yeah, I say so.
Yeah, I think so, to get insurance, definitely. Oh, I did look into food sovereignty. That's a new concept for me. It doesn't apply to farmers markets. It's only if people are buying directly from the
That's right.
farmers, so we don't have to worry about that.
That
they
has to
do
be on
need-
their own property.
Well, yeah,
That has to be on. your own
but they
property.
do need to be certified in some way, have a license of some kind, yeah.
So that's probably part of the information packet. If you're interested, you need to go to the town and get this.
Right, but they may, if, do they need it
$15.
for each location?
No.
No, so if they have it for
They-
Peddler's
They
Hill,
have to
Okay.
they have to specify where they're going to.
okay, can they add a location if they already have one for a couple of other locations, or,
No, I think I don't know.
okay,
I've never seen that done. They've always, when they come in and get their license, their peddler's license, they say, I want to be on Peddler's Hill, I want to be.
okay, okay,
But most of them go to Peddler's Hill because that's really the only place that
right,
Right,
right.
we do it. So if we set up another place, Diane would know that and she would ask them that.
What, do you see any problems with the long-term use of Veterans Park for 4 hours on a Saturday morning, starting next summer?
No, if we set it aside for that, then that's where the county will read. I mean,
Okay,
right now, if somebody wants to use the park, they have to put in an application to use it.
how much advance
And,
notice?
and
do
we look at the calendar to see if we've got anything going on, so.
Should
I mean,
we?
if we set that up so that it was gonna be every Saturday at 11 to 3 or whatever, then that's where it would be.
How soon should we apply for that location? I mean, it might get
Well,
competitive.
we're doing this under age friendly Millinocket, correct?
right.
Well, that's what we have to establish the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
framework. If it's,
If we're doing it under age friendly Millinocket, we would take care of that part.
Okay,
Right.
I might have an application in my truck. I know I've got the vendors slips in my truck. I don't know if I've got an application, but it sounds to me like you want to use the same thing that we use for our vendors, from the sea, from the, that kind of thing.
what they'd be able to sell in Peddler's Hill, right now.
Just like
currently
what
in
they
the
can
town.
sell,
Yeah.
you can't bring flags in here and sell flags and
Right. It has to be something.
stuff you buy off.
Yeah, we have to write up-
Or
Yeah.
whatever.
I know the farmer's market in St. Pete, Florida has several pages of instructions for vendors, and we have to do something like that, yeah. And I can potentially get copies of what the other farmers markets use, and we can put together our own, so.
So you're no longer thinking of the corner then?
Well, long-term, I don't know if Heritage Plaza will be available. Something else I just found out, Cassandra said the main farmers market organization will provide free road signs for farmers markets. Like, farmers market this way kind of thing, so,
Good to know.
but veterans, what about porta potties? Do you think we should? is that-
Well, if you're gonna start doing something like that, in my mind, we'd have to put some kind of porta potty there.
What is the cost like of running or having one down there?
$125 a month.
25 a month.
Oh, that's not bad. A month? That's great.
If the funding for it, somebody could fund it.
Somewhere, yeah.
Yeah.
But I just, in fact, I've been working, I'm still today I finally established I will have a porta potty for the 4th of July, but you can't get them right now.
Okay.
They're just,
And where would we store it when the market was
no,
not?
they would come and get it.
Oh, they come.
That's, yeah, they
Okay.
have to come get it.
Okay,
Yeah, well, I'm not-
And if you were gonna take, while the town keeps one, and I can check with Ralph, I don't know. We keep one at Peddler's Hill year round. The town puts one there, they keep it there all year. And I don't know if that's a.
probably don't want one at
different rate or
Veterans
not.
Park year round, right? No. We
The-
need
the only
public
thing with-
restrooms.
The only
Well,
thing
we're
with
working
keeping it there year round is it makes the plowing and stuff more difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I know Randy was considering doing a public restroom that could be accessed from the little park next to Boreal Theater. And I don't know what the status of that is. He's got 3 bathrooms, but they're really for the patrons. of
Yeah,
the-
that's at the opposite end of Main Street. So yeah, we'll
Yeah,
have to,
exactly.
we'll have to do
Yeah,
our
if you're gonna do
problem
it down.
solving.
But I,
Yeah,
but there is a need ultimately for a public restroom in Millinocket, right?
and we're working on that.
Yeah.
We're working on it.
That park happens to have sewer and water in it
Ah,
from Newberry's. And those lines are
the
just,
Heritage Plaza Park? Or-
yes, those
Yeah.
are just cut off and capped off.
Okay,
So
interesting.
they're right there just under the grass.
Right.
Yeah, so I think you got the go ahead to
Okay.
really figure what this would look like
Yeah.
for
Okay.
that. You think we're gonna that Saturday, so you'll connect with the group that's
Yep,
planning on
yep,
it and see.
mhm, Yep.
How to move forward.
So, okay with you if I basically send this out to kind of pique people's interest? To some more people on
The
the
outline, you mean?
outline?
So when you say send it out to this group or send it out to people that,
Well,
I just don't know what your
I
request
did
is.
send it to the people, the private citizens listed here, and I did send it to Diana and Sarah. I haven't sent it, actually, I did send it to Matt. Matt said he's very interested. But I didn't go to any of the organizations. Maybe what I'll do is boil it down to a shorter letter of interest. Are you interested with this? Because I didn't know whether the Trails End was a go and other things, so.
Yeah, start with the group there, get their
Yeah,
official.
and say
approval
what I
there.
think the issues are, that we really want to do it with insurance. And a group that won't disappear. The other farmers markets seem to use the vendors as their organizing board, and I'm not sure we can get that together. Do you think? Would Age Friendly be potentially, at least for a year, be the?
Organizing board. I don't know, we'll have to figure out our structure. Do we have like a subgroup or
Yeah.
a meeting? We'll have to have a task force related to
Exactly,
just that, yeah.
The good news
Yeah.
is, Diana, can I share the good news or?
Oh, yeah.
I just found out today that we're being offered to re-up for a year for AmeriCorps, because I thought, well, after August 31st, I'll have to step away, but I can stay involved with it that way. So I'm very
See it
excited
through.
about that, yeah.
But I do like the idea of boiling this down, maybe having it be like a one pager
Yep.
on the back with a couple
Yep.
photos. And I think just
Yep.
not necessarily, you don't need all the contact
Nope,
info, but just what are the areas we gotta consider to do this?
Yep.
And I like the mission a lot, though. I think it's really realistic for
Yep.
the first year.
Yep, and maybe just focusing in on Veterans Park, which seems like a really good.
Well, you know, and when you talk about insurance, if it's gonna come under Age Friendly Millinocket, Age Friendly Millinocket is a part of the town of Millinocket. So in my mind, that we're covered, that covers it as far as insurance goes, as long as it stays under Age Friendly Millinocket.
Okay.
And they get their permit, they get their, I don't say their
Like,
permits, but their.
Yeah,
$50, like, yeah.
right, yeah.
their
That's very
$50.
cool.
You know,
Is that-
and we recently have changed the victor's licenses now, so they're $15 for a year. It's a year, you know.
Right.
And that's one of the big things with Peddler's Hill is because we have people that want to, especially the lobster and fish, want to come year round. They want to be able to come in the wintertime too. So
And
Perfect.
when you talk about a pop-up event, just coming up at Trails End, I think we should have a pop-up event downtown during the marathon. I know there's people that can't get into the gym over at Stearns now because they're, at capacity or room. So there's vendors so that they would be overflow or a place, or they're willing to be perhaps outside. cold,
Sure.
so,
Well, you can have
on
heat
bonfire.
lamps too.
Yeah, so just keep that in mind. Just want to
Okay,
throw that out
absolutely,
there,
yeah,
that there's, I
yeah,
know there's,
absolutely.
there might
Um,
be potential for something to keep people
yep.
on Main Street.
And they do have them in New York at Christmas time. It's cold and they have them. Yeah.
you're right, but the thing that you want to remember with marathon is space
You gotta
wise,
stay, you gotta stay.
Is
on it.
it
space wise.
space wise? Yeah.
Veterans Park is pretty well packed
So, yeah.
that morning, you know.
Whether it can be in a different parking lot or the
Yeah,
KTV. So it's
yeah.
just a thought, yeah.
Yeah.
What down in the downtown area
Yeah.
potentially.
Great. That's very exciting. Right.
Can I just give you a little quick update? I kind of forgot, but when you mentioned senior farm share, we had the first, Tom Fox Green Farm had his first distribution for senior farm share, had a really good turnout. He said he's had an exceptional response from the Millinocket area. Close to 70 people in the area have signed up for it. And so he didn't have as much this month as far as he had mainly greens, lettuces and cabbage, flowers and plants that you could buy also, but had a really great response. And so he's really looking forward to being more involved. That's when Barbara said, well, I'm going to go talk to him about doing farmer's market too, because at first he wasn't sure about coming all the way up to Millinocket. That's why he kind of went halfway, say, well, we'll go to East Millinocket, trial it out, see what kind of response we get here. But he really felt like we,
That's a
Well, is that the same thing that we used to do at Stearns?
as far as.
That's the
it's a
farm
site
share
law.
boxes?
No, we did.
No,
we used to do
before your
farm
time,
share.
he's going
Yeah,
way
this-
back.
This is
when.
back a ways.
It was,
Yeah.
yeah.
But that
it
was
a
farm share, correct?
Yeah.
Because I know the Jordan's farm was very involved in
Yes, we
that.
tried to get them to be one of our farmers, and they just said they're not interested in doing it any longer.
Any longer. Yeah, they did it for years.
It was actually a farmer from Bangor that brought stuff up and
And
they
then
left
years-
stuff at the chamber. Yeah.
Chamber and yeah, and we
Yeah.
had, they had it at
Yeah.
Stearns at the, down in the cafe.
And up until last year, the nearest site was Lincoln, Howland Brewer. You get sites, farmers down there that would do it. But I said, I just heard many people in our area saying, I'm not, with gas that price, I'm not spending $30 of gas to get $50 of vegetables, it just doesn't make it worth it. But I said, can I entice you to come to Millinocket area, and then it would make it worth it. No, do you think we have enough? Oh, we did, obviously.
That's gonna be great to be able to report on it.
Yeah,
Our
so I
spreadsheet.
said it's in the action
Yeah.
plan. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Great.
It's great. Happy about
Can you
that.
transition into your caregiver support?
Yes, I can. Turn my hat right around. So I put out a little flyer. So anyone, please copy and share. Anyone that you know may be a caregiver that would need to know this information. Eastern area made this flyer actually for us. They have a advertising department that does those. It doesn't give a lot of info. I was hoping to maybe talk more about if they have a chronic illness or dementia. It might draw people just that would catch their eye and they would be interested in coming. But anyway.
You can add that on your social media posts.
Right,
Yeah,
that's
this
what
is-
we'll do. Yeah, and so Nicole and I met today and we're discussing the media and we're gonna start 3 weeks out advertising. Andrew Caruso is part of our work group. He is going to have it advertised on the radio. My part will be to advertise in the newspaper. Nicole will help with the advertising on Instagram, Facebook, and the library's website. We're going to give out flyers, put them up in popular locations in the area. But we formulated a work group. We had a response of 8 people in the community. I'm still looking for someone. I know you had mentioned maybe the Catholic Church. Someone might be interested because they have the greatest, population for churchgoers in the communities. But till yet, I had sent out 3 emails and not gotten a response from anyone. I'm hoping to find someone else maybe within their parish that would be interested in brainstorming with us, or at least even, just do some word of mouth advertising in the community. But other than that, we had 8 people in the work group respond. 4 of them at the last minute had to bow out that day for our first meeting, but we did have 4 of us here to via Zoom. And that's moving ahead. It happened, I was speaking with Megan Millard, who's the regional coordinator for outreach and doing basically what we're looking for is finding someone to help facilitate a support group. And so I was talking about, I really like to do, first she said, well, what do you envision in Millinocket for supports for your caregivers? And one of the things I mentioned was having a support group. So she talked to us about Durgan Center and Brewer, what they do there, their model. And I said, that's really what I'm thinking. We really need some place where it's not just, Katahdin Area Support Group is great for equipment and those kinds of things. And that's all a big help. But I think an emotional, social gathering of support group for people who just need some place to connect with other people who are doing what they're doing and going through what they're going through with their family. And so she said, well, maybe we can get some facilitated training if someone up there is interested. So it was kind of like a back burner thing. Well, 2 days later, she calls me and says, my superior came in and said, we just have some grant money come through and we're going to provide 3 support groups in Penobscot County. Do you know of a site that would be interested? And she said, I just talked to Sarah. So yes, Millinocket is going to be one of them. So she's going to come up and drive as long as she can. She said if the winter months might get a little bit hairy to get up here, but she said we might find someone else that I could train to be a co-facilitator. Well, then Andrew spoke up and said, can it be me? Because he's doing his social work training and education. And he said, I'd really like that to be part of my course curriculum and see if he can't do it. So I was very excited for him to be interested in doing that. So we set our first meeting, and our first meeting is the 4th Wednesday of July, July 27th, I believe, and here at the library. And at that time, we thought we would kind of survey the group, whoever comes, and say, because one of my biggest concerns was, we're going to offer this, and the very people who need it the most are the ones who don't have anyone to sit with their loved one while they come to a support group. And so Diana said she really had been thinking about my comment about that. And she said, well, what if they brought their loved one with them if they're able? And we had something upstairs for them at the library while you had support group downstairs. So that got me thinking in a whole different direction. I'm going to survey the people that come. Is that something you would need? And we just brainstormed amongst us about doing maybe a music. For my work in hospice, I know that music's very powerful with our dementia patients. And so maybe doing a sing-along for an hour. Andrew was volunteering Wally Paul, and I said, let's wait and find out. We're not going to volunteer people, but if we could find a volunteer that could bring a guitar, do a sing along, singing the old songs, hymns, you are my sunshine, she'll be coming around the mountain. Music sticks with people, even in dementia.
Yeah.
So I thought that'd be great, or perhaps an art project or something simple. As a side note for that, Megan mentioned to me in Brewer at their group, they actually have Husson students who are social work, OT, other therapy students who come and volunteer that hour. So they can count that as some of their volunteer time. And so I thought maybe I could check in with Deb Browntree and see if some of the
Absolutely.
students there through the social services program would like to come and just do an hour once a month to come and lead a little group. I did ask her about the ramifications of having folks here. Do we need someone with like a CNA certification or something in case we needed someone toileting, or what is our responsibility? And she said, it's only an hour. I'm thinking, no, we don't do that at the Durgan Center. They have to be able to either self-toilet or their loved one here would have to care for that before they came. So she felt like it was a non-issue. So I think that seems reasonable. So we're set to go for that. And also, as far as other caregiver support things, I thought we could let the group process kind of determine and lead where will the needs, what's the next need that we can work on with you and for you. So I'm really excited about having such a great cross-section of people in the community, a social worker from the hospital, a pastor in the community, various people from all walks of life that can really inform how this process goes. And I think my main goal was to just let people who are caregiving, because I know it's a hard job, just let them know we see you. We know that you have a difficult job, and we're not going to fix everything, but we're here to try to be support. So I think that's our mission.
Awesome. It's nice the way that came together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really just went,
Yeah.
I was like, okay. Because we were just kind of saying, we didn't think, how's this gonna ever get off the ground?
No.
And this is indefinitely over the winter?
Yes, yeah,
Very good.
monthly right now. And I think as it goes, perhaps, we could go to a shorter interval, if it needed to be in every 2 weeks. But again, we don't want to give them more things to stress either about, I think it's
Get started and
Right.
see where it goes.
right. Because, the group process, the things I've had in my past work life is that, the group's the facilitator's mainly there to just, keep everything on track, but really the group process provides its own healing and care. It really does. Yeah. And so I told Megan, I thought it was important for the first poster at least to have a little topic of discussion until people get to know one another. And so I thought self-care would be the perfect
Way to start.
topic, and just saying, hey, you're here at the support group because you really, we all need to exhibit some self-care. And so it's a great place for you to start.
Very good. And we know walking is part of self-care.
Oh, yeah.
Barbara.
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna
actually,
transition right into
yeah,
the
they,
summer program around the.
I
walking
kind of
program.
casually mentioned it. All of a sudden
Yeah.
it's being promoted. Yeah, 8:30 Thursday morning, starting at
Yeah.
Yum Bakery. And this Thursday will be my third. And we're slowly gathering interest, as people see that it's really happening. So the main thing is to show up and be regular. And I'll do it no matter if I know who's coming or not, just so they can count on it. So Diana's been very faithful.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. And I did get a little feedback that we might want to wait a little longer to leave, because I guess there was someone who missed us last
Oh,
week.
really? Oh, okay.
So,
Okay,
yeah, word is getting out there, and we keep running into walkers who
Great.
are interested
Yep.
too, so that's cool.
So I know there was a flyer that was created and it was in conjunction with Mike Smith and the Outdoor Sports Institute, and it says that the age-friendly community walk will start July 7th through August 18th.
now
That will start
I'm
at-
not sure what that is.
That will start at the Crandall Park, so we'll follow up.
Oh, okay, well, that might have been a mistake. I think he wanted all those programs to be starting in July, so he thought this one, it's the same program though.
Okay,
And so
okay.
we'll just have to update.
This is
flyer.
the same?
Yeah.
Same thing? Okay.
Yeah.
okay, so we'll get that straight. We'll get that straight.
Okay.
All right.
They're just going to Yum Bakery to get. the
I
yum
know.
before They leave.
That's what I said. I said, what a great place to
Yeah.
start, man,
Yeah,
right?
so we'll have to update that, because I know his other ones related to youth and the kayaking stuff started right there at Crandall Park, because they used the.
They all actually meet at the gear library, and so I think that's.
Oh.
Everybody's at the Gale.
That's what
Oh.
it said
Yeah.
for the walk too, which is basically.
Oh, why didn't maybe I
So,
just,
yeah, I think that's.
last year, that's past history.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, because they're all gonna get the gear there.
that makes sense.
Great
Very
idea.
good. All right, so we will share broadly that flyer and get that out there, well, both of them, the support group flyer as well as the walking program. And I'd added one more bullet, it wasn't on the agenda that was sent out for the meeting, but Randy's really excited about a pickleball program, because the tennis courts were painted with pickleball dimensions or whatever, but we don't have the net and the paddles. And I told him that I would work through my age-friendly budget, through my budget to purchase some. So we just got to figure out program-wise and to start it off, but that stuff will be at the Gear Library. Or how we're going to make it work and then promote it, as opposed to just leaving it down at the rec department, just. So,
Yeah, I think we could leave the nets, but then maybe having the paddles available at the gear library to check out, that's something we could easily circulate. And something else I'd like to iron out is,
Yep.
is there an indoor location that we could do this in the winter? Because it's really an ideal winter sport for all ages to stay active during those months. So is it at Stearns? Could we do it, in the gym there or something like that? That would make it more of a
Year-round.
fill a need that I know exists. So, yeah, a lot of questions,
Definitely interested
but
in that.
interest. I've
Yes.
had a couple people actually come into the gear library and say they want to do pickleball, which was kind of surprising to me, but.
Is there someone that
wasn't surprising.
can like teach?
Yeah, we're gonna
this
have
and-
to have a program where we teach it.
Right,
Yeah,
right.
And
Teach and
Diana knows how to
coordinate.
play, apparently. Do you know how to play?
No, I don't.
You'll have to learn how to play. But,
Coordinate,
yeah.
I've volunteered to be a counterpart, but not the primary instructor, so.
Talking about walking reminds me, I'm also a Maine Walking College Fellow, which is a nonprofit group promoting walking in communities all over Maine. Do we have anything in the works about repainting the crosswalks or fixing the curb cuts, which are kind of deteriorated?
So I know some of the sidewalks have, I mean, not the sidewalks, the crosswalks have been painted,
Mhm.
Public Works, I've seen that.
Yeah.
There is a plan, for Public Works to address what we can with sidewalks, so stay tuned. I don't have it to share
Okay.
with you or what's coming next or first.
I
but-
say we've done a lot of work, feasibility studies about pedestrian and bicycle safety
Yeah.
in downtown. So
Yeah.
that
Well,
I
a
don't know
lot
if
of it
you-
was on Central, though, right? Yeah,
Central Street and Penobscot Avenue.
yeah.
So that meeting, I don't know if you were able to attend on Zoom or
Yeah.
in person, but it's available online and you can see it. It was a really good discussion. They went through their entire feasibility study page by page.
But is there anything in the near future planned? Because all the curb cuts are very deteriorated.
Well, we have to start somewhere. So that was
Okay,
this
okay.
was in response to,
Yeah.
I guess, reaching out to Maine DOT for them to fix
Right,
those things.
Okay.
And they said, well, this is where you have to start. So
So
it's
who-
a very much future project, but
Okay.
we have
Okay.
to start
They're going
somewhere. Yeah.
But they do repaint a number of them on a rotating basis, and I've seen them doing some of them, so.
Right.
or
I did
Public
notice
Works
some
at
of the
least
arrows are
repainting
painted.
The lines, but.
They'll be painting the lines. They're
Yeah.
doing that now.
Yeah.
And a lot of the streets now, like up across the tracks up Lincoln Street and Oak Street, where they're retired, they've actually had, because all these curbings all have to be changed.
Mm,
They all gotta have the new ADA compliant
Yeah,
Right.
stuff done to them.
And some
So
of the
they're
crosswalks-
slowly working at that.
yeah,
but
some of the
it's-
crosswalks have
a big
potholes.
job.
You can't just paint over the potholes.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
big job.
Yeah, I know. I'm afraid you're pointing out something that's known. It's just a matter of the resources
It's
to
just a
do it
big-
and the cost right now. And
It's always
there is a
something.
priority list that Public Works has shared with
Yeah.
the town and a lot to do. Yeah.
So I just looking at, can I ask one more question?
Sure.
related to that, is this on the priority list right now, the crosswalk at Penobscot and Central? I cross it like 5 times, 6 times a day, and it just doesn't work,
The
the
button.
button for pedestrian crossing.
No, it
And so
doesn't.
I have to dart it every time, and it's not too hard for me, but I'm just wondering if that's like where that is on the list, because I see a lot of people just waiting there, and maybe they don't know it doesn't work. Or
Which button doesn't work?
the on Penobscot and Central, the pedestrian.
Walking from
walking
Penobscot
button,
across,
Crossing Central, or crossing Penobscot, either of them.
So
On the corner where the
But
Heritage
like-
Plaza is.
In my experience, never changes to a walk sign that actually affects the traffic lights.
Can I jump in for a second?
Yeah,
I know that there was a failure in that stoplight recently. And I'll double check with Ralph about the remedy for that. And we'll try to, this is the first I've heard of the walk sign not working. This is the first communication I've received about that. So I appreciate you bringing it to my attention. But yeah, I'll check in with Ralph on it. I know that there was a problem with that intersection recently, just given the electronics somewhere in the mix. So, we just did some big work on the intersection up by Hanford and McDonald's on Central Street, replace that camera system. So, maybe that's what's next. We'll have to look into it. But yeah, thank you. I'll check it out.
yeah, sorry to add to your plate. It's just
No,
one that
No,
I
'cause I
observe
would-
a lot of people just like
Right.
really confused or, darting across at different points to avoid it. So that's what concerns me.
Right, yeah.
Safety issue.
I noticed when Mary Beth was here and we were walking, it didn't work then.
Yeah,
That
no,
was
it
a
hasn't
month
worked
ago.
for 2 years that I've tried it.
Okay.
Very good. We'll get action now. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, so our next meeting date, I'm going to be off sometime in July. So I just don't know what you want to do as far as meeting date. If we want to keep it to the Tuesday, I'm not going to be available on the 19th or the 26th. I don't know what other people are doing for the summer. If we're stuck with a Tuesday, July 12th. Or if we just go into an August date. I don't know what the pleasure is of this committee as far as the next meeting. Or if we just need to meet, if we have a specific task that we need to meet about, I'm not sure what the thoughts are. We are looking to meet our M- committee, which is basically this committee. Will either be August 2nd or August 4th. I'm waiting for some of the responses, the rest of the responses for that doodle poll to nail down that time. So I guess basically trying to get a consensus or thoughts on a July meeting.
I can't do anything the last 2 weeks of July.
For some
Yeah.
reason,
While
I
I'm
had on
gone.
the calendar already, Wednesday, the 13th at 11. What was that?
I can do that one, but
No, that's my support group meeting, sorry.
Oh.
Skip that.
Yeah, so you're off the last, I'm
Well,
yeah,
I would defer to Barbara and Sarah. Are there things that you want more input on in July? Or
yeah, I
would you
s-
rather just share some updates with us?
Yeah,
and
we
then
can
have
just
an August
share updates and,
by email with the group? and-
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with that idea. I really don't anticipate anything new to share as far as this until the support group actually occurs. So, and that's the end of July, so. And then the garden's growing and, we're keeping up with that, but I would say probably some humane classes or Wabanaki classes maybe would be the only thing that, and I can be in touch with Brittany about that as we plan. Trying to offer some community things.
So we'll look to meet in August for the M- meeting. And then as far as our age-friendly meeting in August, because I'm sure some of us are going to take time off in August as well, if we can. So,
Do you want to do-
and I wanted to ask, is this time of day, 4 o'clock, the best for everybody? Would you want to meet earlier? I know some of us, it's part of my workday.
Doesn't matter either way.
As far as other people around the table, you want to meet earlier in the day or is
It's
this-
good for us because we have a Tuesday trainings 1 to 3 on Tuesdays. Once a month.
AmeriCorps,
Yeah, today we had meetings all day, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's fine with me, 4 o'clock, is fine with me.
I like later in the afternoon as well.
Okay.
Keep the manager beyond his workday that way.
Maybe August
Yeah.
9th. Would August 9th be
At the whim of
week after
the
that?
council.
So we have M dash, it's either gonna be the 2nd or the 4th. So Sarah's suggesting the 9th.
Which is a Tuesday at 4 again.
I don't think I'd be there. But I could the 16th,
Yeah, I think this,
16th sounds better.
just keeping the normal schedule.
What are we looking at?
August 16th, maybe?
Oh, we're looking at August.
Yeah, July, we're not gonna have a regular meeting.
And that would give us a chance to recap our year of service and, you know.
The 16th is better for me.
Yeah, it would,
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
let's do age friendly on the 16th.
Okay.
4 o'clock.
That term will be done and we can.
August 16th will be our next meeting, and then we'll just communicate by email and we'll get together as needed for these other projects. So very good. Thank you for your time today. I know we had to buzz right through things because we all, some of us have another meeting right after this one. You guys got any parting words? Are you good? And you're on mute, so.
Yeah, no, we're just fabulous over here.
Nice. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks, everybody.
Uh,